V'ahavta l'reyacha kamocha, says the Torah, the commandment of loving your fellow. But of course the question is how? What does that mean? There's no on and off button when it comes to emotion of love. How can God command me to love? What can I do to love another? Well, when it comes to the English language, there are many different meanings when it comes to love. The word love can mean so many different things. You see, I love my spouse, I love my children, I love ice cream, I love my car. So what does love really mean? There are different types of love. There's a selfish love and there's a selfless love. So for example, I'm sitting at the dinner table and I'm about to eat some salmon, and I look down and I say, I love salmon. Do I really love salmon? The answer, of course, is no. If I really loved salmon, I wouldn't be standing over it with a knife and fork, stabbing it. I'd allow it to swim freely in the river and the ocean. What I'm saying is, I love the way salmon tastes to me. It's a self-love. And so too when it comes to interpersonal relations. If I tell you that I love you for what you do for me, I love you because you complete me, I love you because of how you make me feel, ultimately comes back to me. Selfless love is similar to a love from a parent to a child. I don't love my children because of what they do for me, because they're smart, or because they're good looking, because they're talented. I simply love them because they are. And we should try to take that selfless love, to some extent, and apply it to our fellow human beings. Not to love somebody else because of what they do for us, simply because they're God's children, because they're created in God's image. There's a Jewish saying, Kamayim aponim alponim kain lev ha'adam, just like water reflects the face. If you look in the water, you see a reflection of your own face. So too, when you give of your heart, chances are you'll be reciprocated by the other's heart. In Judaism, the word ahava, love, comes from the word hav, which is give. The more you give, the more you'll develop your love. There's a very cute story told of a guy who comes to the rabbi and says, Rabbi, there's no secret. You know, I know, the whole town knows that I don't love my wife. And I treat her pretty harshly. And I decided it's time for it to be over. And the rabbi says, okay, so you came for a divorce. He says, no, divorce is too expensive. I came for it to be over. And the rabbi says, what do you mean? You want to hire a hitman? You came to a rabbi? And the man says, I just need advice. And the rabbi thinks for a moment, smiles, and says, I think I have advice for you. You see, there's an old tradition that if you pledge money to a synagogue and you don't pay it within a year, perhaps your spouse may pass away. He says, Rabbi, that's brilliant. I'll pledge money to the synagogue, I won't pay it, and in a year, I'll be clean, and nobody will assume it was me. The rabbi said, yeah, but there's one problem. You see, everyone knows you hate your wife. And if you treat her badly during this year, and then you make a pledge and you don't pay it up, everybody will accuse you. So what do you suggest, Rabbi? Well, I think when you come home today, for the next year, treat your wife kindly. And this way, after a year, nobody will accuse you. The man says, Rabbi, you're brilliant. And he goes home. The next morning, his wife wakes up to breakfast in bed. And she says, you've gone meshuggah. She wants to call a psychiatrist. And he says, no, I'm a changed man. The next night, he takes her out to a date. And he introduces her to all his friends. He compliments her. He tells her how beautiful she is, how wonderful she is. He's constantly buying her gifts. And what happens after a couple of weeks? She reciprocates. And the love begins to build, begins to grow. The feelings are back. Well, 11 months later, he gets a bill in the mail from the synagogue. He owes $50,000 due in a month. He goes, oh no. He runs to the rabbi. He says, Rabbi, there's a problem. The rabbi says, what's the problem? He says, I pledged last year $50,000 to the rabbi's discretionary fund, and I don't have the money. And the rabbi said, what's the problem? The plan is working. He says, no, Rabbi, you don't understand. Since last I met you, things were going well. I actually love my wife. We're in a good relationship. What can I do? And the rabbi said, there's one thing you can do. You can pay the pledge, but don't worry. I'll make you a long payment plan. Everything will be fine. He says, Rabbi, thank you so much. He walked home. He was happy. His wife was happy. And of course, the rabbi was thrilled. Of course, the moral of the story is that sometimes we think the more we get from someone, the more we will love them. But in truth, ahava, true love, hav means to give. The more we give of ourselves, the more we give to our spouse, whether it's things or whether it's compliments, whether it's from our hearts, the more that love will grow. The more it will intensify. Hava, give, and you will see the love will follow. Have a lovely day.